Okay, well, welcome everybody to the May 24th meeting of the Countywide Bike and Pedestrian Advisory Committee. I'm Stephen Schmitz, chair for the committee. And first item on the agenda is introductions. So how do you want to do it, Dana? Go around the horn?
I'm happy to read off the list if you would like me to do that, or I'll leave it up to you, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead and read off the list.
Great. All right, so we have Drew Nichols from SCTA. I'm Dana Trey from SCTA. Our chair, Stephen Schmitz from Sonoma County Transit. Eris Weaver from Sonoma County Bicycle Coalition. Edie Takata from Rohnert Park. Ken Eichstadt, City of Petaluma. Orlando Ramirez, Caltrans District 4. Ben Kagiyama, City of Healdsburg. Chris Barney, SCTA. David Ripperda, SCTA. Elizabeth Tyree, County Regional Parks. Mona Ibrahim, Town of Windsor. Tina Panza, SCBC. Chris Bearden, SMART. Nancy Adams, City of Santa Rosa, and JP Harris, City of Cotati. Did I miss anyone? All right.
Got everybody. Okay, thanks, Dana. So next item is approval of meeting notes from March 22nd. And I did get a chance to read through them. They looked pretty good to me. Does anybody have any comments or corrections on the minutes? March 22nd. Harris.
Yeah, this I guess is a question / comment. I've noticed that over time the minutes have gotten a little more succinct, which in some ways is a good thing. But when it's just said that this person and that person made public comment, and then that's all it says, that doesn't allow the public who is looking at the minutes later to actually know what happened in the meeting without going to look up that piece of the video. So just for public transparency, I would like to see a little more there. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for that comment, Harris. When did SCTA start going toward the video recording references? Is that just within the last year?
Yeah, within the last year, just given the Zoom videos and putting them online and then linking them to each item. But I hear you, Eris, and I will make sure to write more on my notes.
Okay, thanks, Drew. Okay. Any other comments or questions about the minutes from the 22nd of March? Okay, seeing no hands, no voices, if we can move on to public comment. Anybody that has public comment on an item that's not on the agenda? Eris?
Of course I do. We are in the final week of Bike Month, or Bike to Wherever Month. And so far we've had quite a lot of activity. Last Friday, May 20th was Bike to Wherever Day. And, numbers and participation was, considerably smaller than pre-pandemic, but given that this is the first time we've gone full blast with it, I'm actually pleased with the numbers. We had 7 Energizer stations around the county, and, pre-COVID, we would have a couple dozen, and about 300 people stopped by those stations. We had about a dozen people show up for a happy hour afterwards, and another 200 of the carrier bags are being given out at various bike shops around the county, including the farther hinterlands where we weren't able to have an Energizer station. Another big event that we had that same week on Wednesday, the 18th, was the National Ride of Silence. That's been happening for 20 years, a silent bike ride to memorialize cyclists who've been killed on the road. We have an average of 3 or 4 cyclists killed in Sonoma County every year. In the past 12 months, we had only had one, Mark Osborne, who was killed by a drunk driver on High School Road last year. Might have remember that one. We had 3 different rides. We had 75 people participate in 3 different rides that day. Last year we had 100, but it was in the 90s this year, so I think that might have cut down our numbers. We had one in Petaluma, one in Sonoma, and then we did one in Sebastopol that went past the site in the Ghost Bike where Mark and a 12-year-old boy, Eric, were struck by drunk driver Ulysses Valdez. What made that ride particularly poignant is that Mark Osborne's partner, Tracy, participated, as did Eric, the boy, with now sporting a prosthetic leg, and his father. So having the folks who were most intimately impacted by that crash participating in that memorial made it quite moving. That's it. Thanks.
I asked this question in the comments. Are we still going around with roundtable? I know there's roundtable updates in the agenda, and we used to go around to everyone to do those updates. I wasn't sure if I should update y'all during that portion or in public comments.
I think we just do it during roundtable. That's when you usually do it, right? Yeah, it's fine.
That's good.
Thanks.
I'm just used to throwing my hand up the minute public comment gets announced, no matter what meeting I'm in.
And Dana, I think that I forgot to ask for a vote on the minutes. Is that right?
Oh, that's true. Yep.
So, any objections to the minutes from March 22nd? Hearing no objections, then I just assume it's a unanimous approval of the minutes. Thanks. Do you have something, Dana?
I actually had a question for Eris. I was disappointed that the Love to Ride app wasn't. We weren't able to develop a team this year, and I was for Bike to Wherever Day, and I was wondering if you had any information about whether that might be coming back in the future, or if there's any discussion about using another tool to track when we ride and where we ride.
Yeah, I don't know what will end up happening next year. Part of what has happened is that contract with Love to Ride was done by the overall MTC contract for the 9 Bay Area counties. And that was not cheap. I know people loved doing that, teams and stuff. There were some issues with Love to Ride, shall we say. But I'm not sure that the decision to not use it during this year was entirely, I don't know how much was financial and how much was, we still, when it was time to make contracts, right, way back when, what did we think was going to be happening with COVID in the future? And I wasn't part of that decision. We did set up, although not that many people participated, it's still there online. I set up a couple of challenges using People for Bikes app, RideSpot, and did have that up on our website, but it doesn't really have a team feature. And I know that's one of the things that people really love, because I hear so many people that, getting roped into a team at their workplace was the gateway to them becoming cyclists. So I'm really hoping that we can get something like that back next year. And if it doesn't look like it's happening Bay Area wide, maybe we'll figure out some way that we can do it locally. I did look around at other platforms to see if there was some way I could do some kind of team thing locally, within our budget, and wasn't able to come up with anything.
All right, thanks, Eris. Also, we're expanding this Ride Amigos platform, and we may be able to do something with that, develop some challenges around it next year. But thanks for the information.
Okay, I think we're done with public comments, unless there's anybody else. And we'll cover it under roundtable later in the meeting. League of California Bicyclists legislative platform. Is that you, Dana? Yep.
Yeah, so I'll kick this off. So SCTA regularly takes positions on various legislative items relating to transportation. Also, RCPA does for items relating to climate. This legislative platform that's put together by the League of California Bicyclists was brought up as something that SCTA should be reviewing. And so we wanted to bring it to this committee to get some feedback on the various items that are bills that have been introduced in 2022 that are bicycle related. So, I really just kind of wanted to have a discussion and hear whether there's feedback from anyone on this meeting about any of the particular bills or any kind of general feedback about supporting legislation that's related to bicycling and bicycle safety.
Nancy. Nancy, are you on mute?
Can you now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm outside eating my lunch and doing the meeting, so apologize if you hear any noise. So I guess the question I have, Dana, and I haven't read through the entire staff report on this item. Has the California League of Cities taken any position on these bills? So that's always the question I ask as a city. So just curious about that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's something I can look up and try to figure out. I'm not familiar with what the California League of Cities has actions they've taken on these so far.
I have a question. Maybe Eris knows more about it. The Bikes Belong bill that requires cars to switch lanes in order to pass a bicycle. Does that mean like if you're in a no passing zone, that you wouldn't be allowed to pass a bicycle?
That is my understanding. I think the reasoning behind this bill, we had the 3-foot law get passed a while back. I have never heard of a single case of the 3-foot law being enforced in any way. Even when I know someone who got hit, because obviously if you hit someone, you didn't, keep 3 feet, but they did not invoke that law. And I don't know how many drivers even know that exists or actually use it. But the requirement to actually change lanes is obviously a lot safer for the cyclists. But yeah, if you're somewhere where it's not possible to change lanes, then the driver has to just slow down and wait until there is room to pass.
Yeah, I could never support that. That I think would cause people to do much more dangerous actions. You could have one person obeying it and cars behind that person just going absolutely crazy. That doesn't seem like a good idea. Anyway, it seems like that one seems sketchy. The other ones I think are great, but that's my thoughts on that. It just seems strange to me, strange bill. Thanks, Sarah.
If I may, I can address some of the bills that I think, there's a long list that they've been watching and talking about, and the ones that we support and think are the most important. One of them, the safety stop, that one passed both houses, and Newsom vetoed it. And so they reworded it to say that it would only apply to people 18 and over, because he invoked all this, children getting hit on the street or whatever. And it's one of those things that even a lot of cyclists oppose it. It's counterintuitive, right? Wait, you tell us we're supposed to stop at stop signs, and now you're saying, we don't have to. And how could it be safer to not have to stop all the way? And what's been found in multiple states and cities that have implemented this, bicyclists getting rear-ended, collisions and fatalities have declined. When you come to a dead stop, you can't get started quickly again to get out of the way of something, right? If you keep a little bit of momentum, you have more mobility. And especially if it's being rear-ended by a car that's just not seeing that you're there or stopped, if you're still have a little bit of momentum, you're in better shape than if you're at a standstill. So that is one that we're particularly interested in. I'm only going to talk about two more. One of them, another Friedman bill for automated speed enforcement. This bill was for just a pilot project, not statewide, so just do it in a couple of cities. It's in the suspense file, so I don't know that it's going to go anywhere this time, but I think moving toward that could be a very useful thing, watching how many, collisions are due to, excessive speed. And then the one about SB 932 requiring all cities and counties to include active transportation in their general plans. That one right now is awaiting a vote on the Senate floor. So of all of the ones that have been listed, those are the ones that I'm kind of the most interested in and supportive of.
Okay, so Dana, so what are you looking for? Are you looking for just a general?
I'm not looking for any type of action on this. I really just wanted to hear some initial feedback and see if any major issues are raised about any of these bills, or any strong support for any. So we're really just coming here first with this list and wanted to hear feedback.
Eris, do you have your hand up again? Yeah?
I do. I was the one who brought this up to the full SCTA board when they were talking about the whole other list of things that they've decided to take positions on, and none of them, there was no overlap between that list and CalBike's list. I wanted to make sure that some of the things that are relevant to us working in active transportation be on the list of things that SCTA is supporting. Maybe Dana doesn't need any action from you, but I would love to see, I think if the Bike and Ped committee supported any of this and that was communicated to the board, that would go a long way, rather than, me yapping about it at the board meeting and the organization's own committee, the committee not taking any position or having much to say about it.
Well, it seems like by default, we should support them unless someone can point out something in one of them that just doesn't sound right, or, cannot support. So I read through all of them and they seemed all reasonable to me. Some of them sounded more familiar than others. But does the group, those of you who have read through this, do you see any fatal flaw in any one of them that you just couldn't support? Has everybody had a chance to read through them all? Not yet. Well, the first one on the list, the bicycle safety stop, is essentially the Idaho stop that is already in place in several other states. And the modification here would just be it's only for 18 and over, like Eris said. And so I know if that's a good compromise or not. I'm curious if other states have also made such a compromise, or if it's just California that's come up with that idea. Candy, do you have a comment?
Yeah, Chair, I'm looking at these, and I've certainly heard of some of these before. I don't have this list looks very, to me, very relevant. And I think I'd like to see that we take a vote on it. I would support all these. And I don't know if that's something that you wanted, the direction you wanted to take the committee in, but I think this is good information, and I have a lot of respect for what Cal Bike does. So I don't have any problem supporting these.
Well, good. Thanks, Ken. I just want to make sure that everybody has had opportunity to have read through them and understand them. Is everybody comfortable in taking a vote and supporting these?
Well, I already mentioned my opinion about I live on a road that is no passing for 6 miles. And we get a lot of bikers on there. And they already go crazy when I'm behind them waiting for an opportunity to pass. I'm constantly getting the wave to go around. They seem to get uncomfortable in the cars, kind of just staying right on their tail and doesn't kind of get around them. And I don't know, I can't imagine not being able to pass a bike for that length amount of time when it's perfectly fine to do it. But just because there's a no passing, lane. So then I'm not going to support that particular one, but I'll support all the others. And if the group wants to support it as a whole, then so be it. I'm not going to go to the mat on this one, but I think that one needs a little more thought. And I agree with Eris that, I haven't seen enforcement. Of course, I don't get that kind of feedback on the 3-foot rule. But in general, I feel like people, I don't know. I don't have enough to know that that's insufficient. I just don't have enough background, but I have a concern of in Sonoma County roads where you can go miles and miles and miles with no passing lane, creating a situation where you can't get around a bike when it feels safe to do so. Anyway, that's my thoughts. That's the only one I have an issue with. And it's not a strong opinion, but it just doesn't seem well thought out. That's all.
Okay, thanks, JP. Anybody else? You chime in?
I admit I'm not ready to vote on these to say, yes, we should, not. Signals for pedestrian crossings, Caltrans and cities to update all ped control signals to give pedestrians a head start of 3 to 7 seconds. What does that mean? Is it going to be part of every time we do a project? Is it saying we should have the policy is, for funding? Is it just, you got to do it? What, how is it going to, obviously it'll affect, our traffic flow. Are the rankings of intersections. So just, just looking at that, I would have to think and discuss with our cities. So I will admit, I'm not ready to say, yeah, all of these are just going to go and SCTA should support it. So that's where I am. If I were to have to take a vote now, I'd have to abstain.
If I could, Mr. Chair.
Yeah.
I didn't bring this, this isn't on the agenda as an action item. So
Okay.
I don't think that we're able to take an official action today. I think this is something we could definitely bring back and kind of bring it back, maybe customize it based on comments that we hear today.
That sounds good. Nancy, you have your hand raised?
I do. Actually, Edie made the exact comment on that one proposed legislation for the signal crossing. I don't know for PEDs. I don't really know what that means and what the end result and in that. So I that gives me pause. And I feel similar to her. I don't know. The other ones seem like there's a good rationale to lend some support to, but I haven't really done a deep dive into all of them. And I really was wondering, Dana, if we could table this to an item for a future meeting, because it wasn't, as you indicated, it wasn't an action item on the agenda, so I wasn't prepared to act on it today. So I would support bringing this back for the committee to consider at a future meeting.
I don't know if this is, I just want to mention, and I don't know what exactly the role of each member of the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee is in terms of, are you here to, make sure that bicycle and pedestrian needs are focused on, or are you here to just represent the cities in general? But as you're considering that, I would just think that considering that this is the Bicycle and Pedestrian Advisory Committee. So if you're making a recommendation, just think about how that particular law will impact the safety of bicyclists and pedestrians.
Okay. Thanks for all those comments. And Dana, thanks for pointing out it wasn't on the agenda as an action item. So yeah, I agree. We should bring this back to a future meeting and have some more discussion before we take any action. So, but I appreciate you putting this on the agenda. It does add for some good discussion amongst the group. And we'll bring that back to the next meeting. Any final comments on any of these bills from anybody before we go on to the next item? Okay, then on to item number 5, funding. SCTA funding program evaluation criteria.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members, David Ripper, SCTA staff. So a couple weeks ago, the SCTA board approved our funding program evaluation criteria that we are currently using to evaluate all of the projects that were previously submitted to SCTA as part of our, what used to be called the 2021 funding program, or this now just calling the SCTA funding program cycle 1. It's going to continue in the future, and we're in 2021 now, 2022 now instead of 2021. So right now we're evaluating all the projects, and we've submitted a request to several of the jurisdictions asking for additional information to be able to quantify all the benefits of the projects. And we hope to be coming back to this committee in July with initial recommendations of what projects we think are best for funding. And we'll also be bringing to you the complete streets checklist for several of the projects that will be suitable for federal funding through the OBAG process. And at this point, this item is just for information. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.
Questions for David?
I have a real quick question. Can you tell how many complete streets checklists we'll be looking at in July?
Say that again. You're very quiet. Soft.
Yeah.
Oh, I was wondering if you can tell how many complete streets checklists we'll be looking at in July. Will it be the whole, all 5 projects from each jurisdiction? Yeah, I think so.
At this point, we only need to do the complete streets checklist for the projects that will be receiving OBAG funding. And since there's only a limited amount of funding available, it's probably no more than probably 10 projects or so, maybe. So we'll have to see how many projects we think are good fit for OBAG funding. And then we're going to be recommending more projects than our share of OBAG funding, just to make sure we have enough projects in the MDC in case they don't like some of our projects, we can substitute some projects. So it's probably in the neighborhood of around a dozen projects, I'm gonna guess.
Thanks.
Seeing no other questions, thank you very much.
Okay, thanks, David. We'll look forward to those complete streets checklists to review coming up in July. Next up is Safe Streets for All notice of funding opportunity. Information, Dana?
Yeah, so I'll start this off. A notice of funding opportunity for the federal Safe Streets for All program came out. Applications are due on September 15th. I'll just note a few things that I heard at MTC's Active Transportation Working Group about this. And I'll see if anybody else has anything they want to add on. There was a recommendation for jurisdictions who are applying for ATP funding to also apply for this program. A lot of the information in the application can be for ATP, can also be used for the Safe Streets for All program, and could double your chances of getting funding. There is an eligibility requirement for having a safety plan, including a Vision Zero or LRSP. This is a self-certification. There's a 20% match required. And the program kind of highlights network type projects, and also like multi-jurisdictional over large geographic areas. I think that there's, smaller projects are certainly eligible, but there's a lot of kind of more network type projects, language in the NOFO. So yeah, I just wanted to highlight that information, and if anybody else has anything they want to add on, that'd be great to hear as well.
Anybody from this group planning on applying for that funding? No?
The city of Petaluma is looking at applying. So we've got a meeting tomorrow to talk through it. So yeah, thanks Dana for this information.
Okay, great. Thanks, Dana. So next up is TFCA and TDR 3 quarterly reports.
This is just a quarterly report for the Q3 of FY22 for both the TDA Article 3 and TFCA programs. The first pages are the TDA 3 projects, and we have a few highlighted on here that will have funding expiring at the end of this fiscal year. So if one of those is your project, yeah, please take a look at that and make sure that your project will be complete and invoiced by the end of the fiscal year. We cannot do extensions for TDA Article 3 projects. But anything that is completed under budget, the remaining amount will roll over into your jurisdiction's pot of funding for the next cycle. On the TFCA side, actually since we did this quarterly report, we received final invoices for the first 3 projects listed on here. So otherwise, there aren't any upcoming expirations until the end of this calendar year. But if anybody has any questions about the projects, I would be happy to address them.
Oh, hey, Dana. So on the TDA, this is Nancy. So we are on the Santa Rosa Avenue. We're certainly going to get those expenditures for the design invoiced, and we actually are looking to go out to bid probably late summer on the construction. So that's exciting for us. Yep.
Thanks, Nancy.
Okay. Any other comments or questions for Dana? Moving along to Active Transportation Program Cycle 6 application.
I just wanted to make sure everybody's aware that a new version of the application has been posted. There's a link to it in the PDF. That's page 88 on your agenda packet. All the reminders we can get are good sometimes. So this is just for your information.
Okay. Thanks, Dana. Moving on to some good news under planning, SCTA Countywide Active Transportation Plan.
Yes, so SCTA received a conditional award for our application to develop a countywide active transportation plan. And this includes updates to several of the jurisdiction level plans as well. So we're very excited about this. We'll be working with Orlando on the grant, and we expect funding to be available around November 1st. We do have some things that we want to accomplish kind of before hiring on consultants, just to clean up the data that we have and really get things lined up and prepared to move forward quickly once we are able to with a consultant. So and really what that involves with all of you is making sure that our existing facilities maps, GIS files are current. And so we have the interactive web map on our website with existing and planned facilities. But what we would like to do is over the summer, late summer, early fall, is make sure that you all have a chance to take a look at that map and let us know if any of the projects that are listed as planned are now complete, or if there are any other existing facilities that have been constructed since we last updated our map, which was in 2019. We did it kind of when we were working on our comprehensive transportation plan. We did a round of review and updates then. So we plan to bring kind of a more official notice of and request to review the existing facilities at our July meeting, and then ask for revisions early September, and then take a look at the updated maps and at our September meeting. And that way, ideally, you know, when we bring on a consultant to help us with this plan, we will have that piece ready to go. So we'll also be working with the jurisdictions that have told us they're interested in developing their jurisdiction level plans and confirming that they still want to move forward as planned, and make sure that we have our scope exactly correct with each of the jurisdictions that are going to be involved in a full plan update. We do expect all of the jurisdictions to be involved in some level, as this plan will be structured as the previous bicycle pedestrian master plan was structured, where all of the jurisdiction level plans really kind of fit under the umbrella of the countywide plan. And we will be including the project list from all of the jurisdiction level plans in the countywide plan. So if your jurisdiction has had a recent update or is going through one right now, once that's complete, it will kind of fall under the umbrella of the countywide plan. So we will be facilitating a lot of this work through the CBPAC, and we may also need some working group meetings with the jurisdictions that are additional to the CBPAC, with the jurisdictions that are doing a full update through this grant process as well. So yeah, that's all I really wanted to update everybody on right now. Happy to answer any questions, but you'll definitely be hearing a lot more about this over the next couple of years.
I think that's great. Congratulations. I'm sure putting that together for the grant was a lot of hard work, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. And thank you all for your support on the grant application as well. We did get letters from a lot of your jurisdictions and other partners and agencies. So we definitely appreciate that.
Yeah.
Sorry, Nancy, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll just echo the comment. Great job, Dana and your team. Happy to see this moving forward for the county.
So this is Janet. Hi. I'm wondering on the admin end of things, if any of you, you guys will be our primary our primary partners in this. Will you need like any kind of formal arrangement with us to, for your bosses to let you, spend time on this? Is this something that anybody needs any kind of assistance from us so that you may participate, that your bosses, your elected officials know that you're involved?
I don't think not for me. I know that Permit Sonoma is going to want to be involved on the county side, so I'll reach out to them and ask them if they foresee the need for anything like that. But I'm okay. And Elizabeth, I don't know if you want to chime in for the.
Yeah, we're okay. Thanks for asking the question. We're okay for participating in this, and congratulations on this award. Super.
Terrific. Thanks all. I just thought I'd ask.
Okay, well, that's great. Yeah. Great job, great work. Looking forward to working with y'all on updating this plan. What was it? 2014 was the last time it was. So it's been a while. And it's what the timeline is through February 2025. So that's a nice long schedule. That's good. Good. Okay. Any other questions about the countywide plan update? We will be hearing from Dana over the next couple of months on initial steps on updating some of the background information. Okay. Sorry, I've got to get back up to the agenda to see where we're at. We are at 6.2, right? MTC Regional Active Transportation Networks and Plan Update.
Yes, so I included MTC's presentation from the last Active Transportation Working Group meeting on the Regional Active Transportation Plan. And just for your information, I think that most of you have seen this information before, but really just wanted to touch base on the active transportation network piece and the overall process for the plan. So there's been a few different iterations of the active transportation network map that have been distributed. The latest was really kind of a final look, and making sure there's no outstanding issues or comments. And I actually MTC's asked for some help from me to clarify some of them. I may be reaching out to a couple people today and tomorrow with some follow-up questions on that. But generally just wanted to provide a couple reminders about the active transportation network and the maps that were sent out. The kind of highlighted white areas that is the active transportation network and corridor. The yellow areas are the geographies that the corridor is connecting to. So these are MTC specific geographies that have been identified. The corridors are wider in less populated areas. So to kind of allow more flexibility in where the network is developed. So incorporated communities are like a 1/4 mile buffer, and then there's 1,000 feet around the BATC network, and then more rural areas are a 1/2 mile buffer. MTC's going to be developing an interactive web map once this is finalized, and they're planning to update it every couple of years. And then that will be part of the active transportation, the regional active transportation plan, which will be updated on a 5-year cycle. So once this map is finalized, they'll be focusing more on the plan portion of the regional active transportation plan and on prioritizing projects. I just wanted to highlight that there is a connection between the active transportation network and the revised complete streets policy. However, the prioritization of projects in the regional active transportation plan is really going into effect after OBAG 3. So the network will be in consideration for OBAG 3, but not the prioritization of projects, if that makes sense. That piece was a little bit confusing to me, so I just wanted to clarify it for all of you if that was a question in your mind as well. So yeah, I just really wanted to kind of give a brief update on where things are with the active transportation network and plan. And if anybody has any kind of broader questions, I could try to address them or bring them back to MTC if there's any larger issues on this.
Nancy, yeah, I think Danny did a good job of catching the committee up with the conversation there at MTC. One suggestion that I brought up during the call, I guess it was last week, Dana, when we had our call last week or whatever, was just the fact that the network tends to, when you get 109 cities and in 9 counties, and there's always going to be flux in this network. And so my suggestion was that MTC think, creatively what makes sense to try to address, the ongoing changes that we all have within our jurisdictions as far as bike and ped connectivity. So I think that was received fairly well with Kara. She's a staff person there, but you're never going to have a final map. I mean, that's kind of the bottom line with this network. And, people should, I guess, just kind of say, okay, let's move on, right? Because there seemed to be quite a number of iterations that people kept making comments, and at some point you just have to say, okay, it's good for now, but then, we will have mechanism in place to address ongoing changes that we all experience at a local level. So I don't know, it's the only thing I'd add, but I thought it was a good summary, Dana, otherwise.
Yeah, thanks, Nancy. And I think that your comment at that meeting did bring up the discussion about when and how it would be updated. I don't think they've figured out exactly the how, but they did say that the plan is to allow it to be updated every 2 years.
Okay, any other questions regarding the active transportation networking plan? ATC. I think we can move on to roundtable updates. And I'll just go around picking folks. How about we start with Ken from Petaluma?
Thank you very much, Chair. So we're wrapping up the work on Petaluma Boulevard South. The paving should be done here by the end of June. And we've got a wayfinding program that's going to be implemented about that same time. Then also a bike boulevard on 5th Street that we're going to do a pilot. We have a pilot traffic circle at Bassett and Upham, and it's going fairly well. The feedback has been positive. There are a few cranky people, but overall it's been positive. And then North McDowell Complete Streets is moving forward, and the bids will be back June 9th. And we hope to be in construction for North McDowell Complete Streets this year. We've got our active transportation plan, which is moving forward, and we probably have another year on that for that work. So that's the update from Petaluma. Thank you.
Great, thanks a bunch, Ken. And Orlando, do you have any updates from Caltrans?
Yes, just a couple. First off, right now we're still working on our, I don't know if I mentioned it last time, but we're still working on our comprehensive multimodal corridor plan for the US 101 North. And we are trying to push that out to our TAC members pretty soon so that we can get so we can release it for a 30-day public review. Right now, we've just been working on evaluating all the projects that our TAC members have been giving us and putting them into the plan. So we should hopefully be getting that plan out within the next few days. Can't make any promises yet. And then as Dana mentioned earlier, for the countywide active transportation plan, I will be the contract manager for that grant program. And so I believe next week is the deadline to make any modifications to the conditions for award so that we can review that and before we can send out a notice to proceed to go forward. So that's all I have for now.
Okay, thanks, Orlando.
You're welcome.
Hey,
Nancy, do you have a question?
question for Orlando. So you faded out a little bit at the very beginning of your remarks. So what did you say something about a 101 corridor? What is that you're working on? And maybe just yeah.
So our district has been working on what's called the comprehensive multimodal corridor plan. Basically a plan that's required for the Solutions for Congested Corridor program to be able to provide funding under SB1. Recently, the CDC made some new guideline modifications that won't allow for hybrid plans. And so we have to make some updates to the current corridor plan that we have for the US 101 North and South in order to be able to have some funding. In order to be able to make sure all the projects in the corridor plan are eligible for that funding.
So I don't know, Dana, have you shared, is this report been shared with this group here? And I guess I would say, what's an example of what you're considering for the corridor? And is that like the 101 corridor throughout Sonoma County? So just a few questions.
Yeah, so the US 101 North consists of, it spans through Marin and Sonoma County. And so we're looking pretty much for a wide range of projects, highway, active transportation, transit, to be included in the list, the projects list that we're putting together for the plan.
Yeah, actually, I'm kind of now piecing this together because our transit folks got it kind of connected with this initiative. So it's beginning to I'm connecting the dots. So I know a little bit more about it. Yeah.
This is David. So I've been involved in the advisory committee for this update. It's an update of the previous comprehensive modal corridor plan that was done for the 101 corridor that resulted in the funding for the Marin Sonoma Narrows widening through Petaluma that's in construction right now. So the idea of this update is to make it eligible for funding for potentially the SMART extension to Windsor. And I went through the project list and did a pretty comprehensive update using the project list from the 2050 CTP update that we finished last year. So I think everyone's project should be on that list. But I just got the list the other day from Caltrans and I'll be verifying that.
Okay. Thanks again, Orlando. Thanks, David.
You're welcome.
How about an update from Elizabeth for regional parks?
Thanks, but nothing for the group today. I'll pass.
Okay. And Mona from Town of Windsor.
Well, we went out to bid on a crosswalk project to improve a crosswalk right near Cali, which is a very busy school because it's a K-8 immersion program school and very popular, and its population has increased. So we're going to put some flashing beacons and a new street light. That project's out to bid. And then another safety project we're going to do for a crosswalk is at near the Windsor Middle School, which is also another heavily trafficked crosswalk, but it goes over 4 lanes right now. So we're going to try to do kind of a road diet there with reducing the lane, changing the merging, and putting in a median island and flashing beacons. So that's been requested for some time now by many parents and staff at the school. So that project should be going out to bid here soon. And you probably all know we have a pilot bird scooter program. And I guess we've had mixed results so far. I don't have anything definite. I mean, some good comments and not great because it's really close to the high school and we had a lot of young people taking the scooters and leaving them all over the campus. So we have to work out some issues there. But
Mona, I want to contact you in the next day or so.
okay.
Yeah, Bird wants to meet with us on Thursday. So I forgot that you guys had one before.
Yeah, and it's only been a couple weeks. So it's going to take a while, I think, for us to look at the data.
Yeah.
And see how well it's going.
Well, I want you and Santa Rosa to figure out all the problems, the solutions to the problems before we even put it out to RFP. We'll talk.
Okay.
Okay. So we got a couple of bird guinea pigs for Edie, I think, right? JP, what's happening in Katati?
I don't have anything new to report in Katati. Kind of quiet right now.
Okay.
Hopefully I will have some news soon, but nothing yet. Except for I am happy to hear about SCTA's grant award because we've had to put our our bike and pedestrian master plan kind of on hold, just because with the planning staff of 2, we have way too many competing priorities right now, and some of them are not our agenda, it's not our choice, we have to do it. So maybe now we can link up with Dana and her team, and that might really help us to get our bike and ped plan going, but otherwise, nothing to report. Thanks.
Okay, thanks. Ben, City Healdsburg.
So we're also a bird guinea pig. We've got our electric bike share program. It's a 3-year pilot program with quick strike funding. So we're going through we've submitted the request for authorization through Caltrans, got through environmental approval, and hope to get approval to proceed soon. Hopefully we'll get an e-bike service up and running this summer. That's our hope. That's where we're at on that one. Last week, our city council adopted the Vision Zero resolution. So that was a milestone without too much fanfare. And we're working on our ATP Cycle 6 application a second time for the Healdsburg Avenue Complete Streets project for construction funding, which would be from north of downtown, almost up to the north city limit line.
Ben, did you make that presentation on Vision Zero? Or did you have Tool Design Group come and help with that?
No, we didn't have tool design. We're able to pass it on our consent calendar.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna look at your report. Thanks.
That's all I have.
Okay, thanks a bunch, Ben. Edie, Runner Park.
Well, let's see. Tomorrow at 5, we have a ribbon cutting for our very first roundabout in Runner Park. Hopefully, we're sending people smoothly to Patati. We're we've actually had pretty positive reviews so far. I mean, again, as you know, you might know that that intersection operated a lot like a roundabout anyway, so I don't think it was too much of a problem for people. Just ignore the flattened cones, but yeah, very, very happy with the results. It actually went out pretty smoothly as far as construction. So there's that. And just east of the roundabout, we had the CRISA monies that we're working on getting obligated. So we're trying to tighten up design, or at least design options with the community. And we had a community meeting and some surveys, and we are actually surprised that the community members that came out and the input that we had were split almost in half between improving that segment with bike lanes on both sides, and or having a 2-way on one side, either north or south. So we were hoping that we would have something clear, a clear direction, one way or the other. But yeah, so we'll figure out how to work with that. Maybe there's a way. We have a lot of width there. We are even tinkering with the possibility of bike lanes on both sides, but one set being 2-directional, potentially in the future, able to be switched. So try not to preclude anything in the future. So anyway, that's pretty exciting for us, having something cool, some complete streets, really cool stuff going down in the southwest area along with that roundabout. And just real quick on the train to Crayola Creek Regional Park, we are our major funder, Open Space District, is going to be looking at our plans. We're pretty much complete. I think we just have to settle with Elizabeth and friends, metal bridges versus something that doesn't burn as easily as what exists in some of your parks. So we're hoping for construction in summer to be finished sometime. Well, we hate to say, sometime next year. So we're pretty excited about that. We have our encroachment is in with the county, encroachment permit is in with the county for review for that signal at Laurel Drive and Petaluma Hill Road, because that's going to be where the trail starts on the east of Petaluma Hill, making that connection to SSU. So yeah, that's moving along. It's been a long haul, but we're really excited about that. So I mean, that's pretty much it for Roanoke Park. Thank you.
I rode the roundabout the day that it was opened and loved it. I actually, because I ride with video cameras, I posted a video of it online, and it's been getting a lot of viewing, but I'm loving it. I was real happy, and nobody seemed confused, any of the vehicles. I went around a couple times because I was having so much fun.
Thank you. Actually, yeah, I've seen several cyclists go through it seemingly without a hitch. I mean, they didn't look confused. They were, they've been seasoned cyclists, but at any rate, no, very smooth. Peds, pedestrians from the neighborhood, they find it pretty attractive. So been getting some good feedback about that. Thank you.
Thanks, Edie. Yeah, we've started sending some of our buses through that roundabout, and it's worked operationally really well for our buses as well. So well done. I think a really good, well designed project there, and completed relatively quickly. I was surprised how they punched that through so quick. So nice work. Okay, moving on to Chris with Smart. Do you have any updates from Smart?
Nothing to update on this meeting. Thank you.
Okay. And Wendy, City of Sonoma.
Thank you. I don't have any updates at this time.
Okay. Who haven't I gotten to yet? Nancy, City of Santa Rosa.
Yeah, a few quick things. So I want to dispel a rumor that Santa Rosa is not going to their council with for the Vision Zero. We are. So we're actually we're pairing it with our local road safety plan, and which contains all the corridor analysis that we have been analyzing the last year and a half, including Stony Point Road. So those two items will be going to the council probably in July. So looking forward to progressing those items through the council. We are and will be close to the end of this month at 65% design for the bike ped overcrossing. So that's a milestone for that project, which is encouraging. And we've had a couple of well, we actually have a meeting last, I think the 17th, on just doing some road reconfiguration of Mendocino between College and 4th. We had a really robust Zoom community call there last week. Got a lot of good ideas, and so we now have an online survey that's active, I think, and through June, the end of June. So soliciting some more input from the community. And just in terms of our scooters, yeah, we should be getting the encroachment permit out probably the end of, well, probably the 1st of June. So I would expect that Bird will be in Santa Rosa probably mid-June for sure. So yes, Edie, we'll keep you posted. And then in terms of constructions, for this year, we have a couple of projects. Santa Rosa Avenue, that's our road diet that will be awarded and under construction probably this season and into the early fall. And then our pavement project, which includes some striping on Range Avenue as well. So that's it for me.
Ken, did you have a question?
I did. I wanted two things. One is the city of Petaluma did pass the Vision Zero resolution. Second thing is I wanted to ask Smart if there was any movement for the Lakeville to Payran section, any information on the portion going under 101 from either SMART or Caltrans on that, and then the status of the link to Pengrove from North McDowell, those 3 segments. If there's any information that you could provide, Chris, it'd be appreciated. Thanks.
Yeah, Ken, I'll have to look into those. The latest I have on the section that goes under 101 there, it's closed until December is the estimated date from Caltrans.
If you wouldn't mind, Chris, I'll shoot you an email, but I get asked by a council member every PBAC meeting, and so I'm just it would be super helpful to get any status. Thanks.
Okay. Tina from Safe Routes to Schools, you're up.
Thanks, Stephen. Hi, everybody. I haven't been here in a couple months. I had a conflict on Tuesdays, but glad to be back. A few things. First of all, we had our first countywide Bike to School Day event this May on May 4th. We've always done monthly walk and roll to school days with our comprehensive schools, but this is the first year that we really focused on Bike to School. We had promotional items and posters and tried to get more schools registered. We had 49 schools participate. We asked them for before bike counts to do bike counts, their bike rack count before and on the day of. And it was super awesome. We had double the number of bicyclists. So we had like the before counts were about 420 bicycles, and literally the after counts were literally double that, almost exactly double that. So that was really great. But what was even cooler was to see some of the exponential increases at some schools, like from 3 bicyclists to 20 bicyclists, or from 5 to 15. And I have a breakdown school by school. Roanoke Park was particularly cool. So Edie, I might share that with you just so you could see, because for me, Bike to School Day is really indicative of who could bike. Because if you're biking, I mean, most people aren't dropping off their bikes, you know, from a meetup. They're biking from home to school, and that means they can do it. And they're willing to try it even for one day. So it's just really cool data. And I'd be happy to share it. We had schools in almost every jurisdiction participate. The only jurisdiction we didn't have a school participate in was Healdsburg, and that's because that school that week had some special event going on, like on a couple of different days, and then couldn't do it a different day in May. But yeah, so I mean, at Presswood and Sonoma, Wendy, we went from, I think their normal bicyclists were 25 and 71 bicyclists on the day of Bike to School Day. So that was, I think, our biggest increase. Anyway, that was really cool. We have a lot of bikey Safer to School community things happening in the next couple months. We are continuing with our Learn to Ride classes in Santa Rosa, Petaluma, and Windsor. In Petaluma, we actually have a bunch of extra ones in June. And we also have a family bike workshop in Petaluma at the end of June. So we would love, Ken, you know, any help promoting that, any help getting the word out. Not so much for the Learn to Ride classes, those are always full, but the family bike workshop, we still have room in. We have one in Cloverdale in early June. We booked one in Sonoma in August. And we're going to be doing a bunch of outreach at farmers markets with Safer to School in June and July as well. So, and even August, I think too. So we'll be out there in the community quite a bit, trying to share info and, you know, share safety stuff, share how to bike safely and maps and how to take care of your bike and all that kind of stuff. We'll be out there doing that. We did a really cool helmet giveaway too at the Windsor Kids Day event on last Sunday. I don't know, I don't have our count because we partnered with the CHP and they gave away the helmets, but I know it was a super busy event. And our staff was so busy that they couldn't even really do outreach. They just fit helmets the entire time. So that was great. And the Lions, the CHP Ashley and the Lions Club both sponsored that event. And we are right now collecting data with our Safe Routes program at our schools. I would like to check in with each of the jurisdictions, and I'm thinking you guys are my contacts, but somebody else that I should be speaking to. I want to check in with you sometime in June or early July about a couple things. One is just about what we've done with Safe Routes to School so far in this particular contract, to make sure that you are aware of the data that we've collected, and the project that we completed, which was to evaluate bikeability and walkability on 100 schools in Sonoma County, and making sure that you've seen that, looked at it, find out if you're using it, that information that we put together. And also just kind of looking forward, how the Safe Routes to School, a non-infrastructure program, can best support your jurisdiction in the future, in this next year, maybe beyond that, so that we're collecting information and really thinking about what is the best engineering, non-infrastructure engineering support that our program can provide to you. So I'd really, really like to talk to each one of you, or again, if like Nancy, you're not the right person, if someone else is, or I'm just picking you out, like Rob Sprinkle, if he's the right person, let me know who that right person is to speak with, or maybe it's a team, maybe it's like you and somebody else. But I'll shoot you an email, each one of you an email, everyone on the CBPAC, and then we can go from there. And I think that's about it, but I'm really looking forward to next year. We've already hit the ground running. We've got all of our schools that were participating this year are enrolled for next year. We've got a few extra schools that have enrolled for next year as well. So trying to figure out like, how are we going to serve them all? But I think we can in one way or another. And it's just been a great year. Even with COVID, we've done all the education we plan to do. We have done a lot of rescheduling things, but pretty much we were in all the schools. We were one of the only programs that were going to schools and doing things. So every school was just like so excited to have us. Looking forward to next year.
Okay, hey, thanks a bunch, Tina. Always appreciate the great work the Bike Coalition does on safe routes to schools. And I took one of their family bike workshops a couple months ago out in Sebastopol and was really impressed. Always very impressed with the crew that's out there and the information they provide. I was out there with my niece, and you get to see her confidence grow during the workshop and then afterwards. And so it's really great to have that available in the community.
Thanks so much for that. And I actually should mention that in case some of you don't know what a family bike workshop is, we do them on Saturday mornings. They're for parents and kids, and we do safety drills on a blacktop, but then we actually go out on a ride on the road. And so we show people how to position yourself on the road, how to turn at intersections, kids should be versus where parents should be, and just really try to build that confidence on the actual road. And we always are looking for hosts for family bike workshops. We mostly, usually it's a school or a jurisdiction, like Wendy Atkins. I've worked with her for years. We've done a Sonoma workshop every summer. And Wendy has hosted that, often bringing us treats for the participants, but we also do them at schools. And if you have a location with a bathroom and a big old blacktop that we can ride from, and you can help us promote it and get it filled, then we would love to work with you.
All right, great, thanks for that info. Did I miss anybody? Eris, would you like to do a roundtable?
Yeah, sure. You've probably heard enough from me already, but there's something that, what Tina was saying, I wanted to tag on to, and that, we do also have adult cycling classes, both teaching adults who don't know how to ride, but our general safety classes, which have gotten, the attendance participation in these classes was really dropping at one point, but since COVID, they've been very popular and sometimes ending up with a waiting list, which is great. And we do offer the classes here at our location, but we can partner with a city or a business and, come do them in other parts of the county as well. So that's something you can ping me if you want more information about. Two other things we have coming up. We have in January of 2021 would have been our 20th anniversary as an organization, and our plans for a big wingding party, of course, got set aside multiple times because of COVID, but we are actually finally having our 21st anniversary party June 4th. So any of you who are members will have gotten a ridiculous amount of email from me inviting you to come and participate in that catered dinner, and we'll have displays of 20 years worth of memorabilia and all of that stuff. The other event we have coming up this summer is we've been working with the city of Petaluma on a ciclovia type event where there will be a big chunk of street closed for people to walk and cycle and skate and play and take over the streets for people power. And I can't tell you too many other details right now, other than that it'll be July 17th, because we're still working out details with the police department and all that stuff about exactly the extent of our road closures and stuff. But it's going to be a hell of fun. And my grand scheme looking forward is, so we helped get one happening in Petaluma, and you know, which of your cities wants to be next? That's it.
Sorry, you guys, Eris mentioned something that reminded me of something I really want to tell you guys, just really quick. We're doing a new award this year, and we're going to be presenting it at the anniversary dinner at Safest to School Bike Champion of the Year. And it's just a really cool story. And if anyone from Santa Rosa or another jurisdiction wishes to share it, there was a group of parents and kids from multiple families that bike to school to Cesar Chavez Language Academy, 4 miles round trip every single day this year, rain or shine, parents rotating in and out, supporting each other to bike to school down Sebastopol Road and, you know, Stony Point. So they went on some, you know, some routes that some other people don't feel safe riding on, but made sure that the kids were safe. And so they're getting our first Safest to School Bike Champion of the Year award. We hope to continue that acknowledgement and inspire other people and other parents to bike with their kids.
We'll also be giving an award to Juan Chavez, the instigator of Taco Tuesday, an event that all of you should come try at least once.
Okay, thanks again, Tina and Eris. I think I'm the only one left, right? So I don't have a heck of a lot to report. We have another meeting coming up mid-June, which our primary topic will be updating our roadway shoulder sweeping list, which is getting a bit outdated. I think we put it together at first 4 or 5 years ago. And then we're plugging away on our bike-friendly communities application. And I'm curious if anybody else knows when that might open up through the league. I don't think it's been opened up yet. It was supposed to be in May, but we're looking for that because we were going to submit an application for the county unincorporated areas. That's all we've got for the county. Any questions on roundtable discussion? I think we're good there. Looks like 7.2 is bicycle and pedestrian counters.
I can give a quick update on that, unless Dana. Just a reminder that we do have automated bike ped counting equipment. We have a number of bicycle tube counters and some infrared bicycle and pedestrian counters available for checkout. So we're down a counter, an infrared counter, and it looks like one is also on the fritz. So we only have 2 of those available. So if you want to do any counting this summer, please let myself or Dana know soon so we can get those booked for you. And then we're planning on coming back to this committee sometime next year to possibly replace one of those counters and replace the batteries for those counters so we can keep those available and up and running into the future. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. So let us know if you need those this summer.
Okay, thanks a bunch, Chris. Shared micromobility programs. Dana.
All right, so this item used to be bike share update on the Marin Sonoma program centered around the smart stations. Since a number of jurisdictions have scooter share programs out or coming online or other bike share programs, I've just changed this to shared micromobility programs. I think we heard updates from the jurisdictions on those other programs that are happening under the roundtable. So I'll just give a brief update on the Marin Sonoma program. The company we're working with, Bolt Mobility, is still having some supply chain issues with their batteries that are not able to be shipped from the factory due to lockdowns in Shanghai. So in the meantime, we are moving forward with the planning work and getting permit applications for the sites in all of the jurisdictions that we're working with. So just sifting through that, making progress, and kind of waiting to hear on timing in terms of the shipping, which will really dictate when we can launch the program. So yeah, that's all I have on that right now. Thanks.
Okay, then we've got an announcement about the SCTA RCPA's Bike Friendly Business Award from the league.
Yes, so we were awarded bronze bicycle friendly business for SCTA and RCPA. We're very excited about it, and we'll be, branding things with our bronze award, and starting to work on moving up to the next level when we can. When we have visitors again, we have some new bike racks downstairs. Inside the front door, there's a few racks that can pull down if anybody wants to park inside without having to bring their bike upstairs. Although the lobby areas also has plenty of space to bring a bike up too. So yeah, we're excited about this and happy to provide insight if anybody else is looking at applying for this.
The next deadline for that application is June 15th, and then they're every 6 months. They're only the second business in Sonoma County to actually get this. Nursing Center Hospital is the other, but I just had a meeting today with the county's green business program to look at trying to get more of our local businesses to apply.
Can you hand it?
Yeah. So yeah, great job SCTA to get awarded bronze. And I've kind of had it in the back of my mind just because I've lived for a period in Palo Alto, which was a bike friendly community gold standard. And I do think it's something that we should all look at business as well as our cities to become bike friendly as defined by the League of American Bicyclists. So good job, and I think we could do more on that realm. So good to hear. Thanks.
Yeah, this is Nancy. So again, Dana, you're full of good news today. I love it. Great job to your team.
Wendy?
Yeah, to piggyback on what Ken was just saying, I'm having a really hard time getting support from the city of Sonoma to be a bicycle friendly community. I think our bronze level, I I think our renewal is coming up in the next year, and I don't think the city is going to be interested in renewing it. It sounds great, and I'm really thrilled that the SCTA got that bicycle friendly business award. But I, as a city employee, I don't really see any benefit that the award provides, and it's time consuming to do those renewal applications every 5 years, and I'm just not getting the support I needed, and I just wanted to let you know that.
Yeah, I could speak to the bicycle friendly business application and process, not really the, I don't know as much about the bicycle friendly city process, but I think just in terms of the bicycle friendly business award, you know, I don't know if there's much outward benefit, but really I think that going through the application forces you to really look at all of the things that you could be doing. And that is what spurred us to put the bike racks downstairs and, just think about various things that we could be doing. So I think that it's a great process for kind of reflection on your agency or your city and areas that can be improved.
I think it's just a little, I'm a little frustrated because I go through the process and I see all the reasons why we need to do improvements, and they're listed in the comments that we get back from the bicycle friendly folks or the league, but nothing's ever done. So it's, maybe that's just a frustration on my end, but that's.
So you're not moving up to the next level?
No, we're not doing what we need to do to move up, and it doesn't seem like there's any support to do it.
Okay, well, congratulations, SCTA, RCPA, way to go. Get the ball rolling. Hopefully more people, more businesses around the county, like Eris said, will jump on the bandwagon and start applying. And maybe it's our job to let them know how, relatively easy it is. I mean, it's not like the bike friendly communities application, the bike friendly business application, I understand, is relatively a lot easier. So I think it's just getting the word out about that. If we can move on to 8 other business comments, announcements from anybody. Not seeing any hands raised. So our next meeting is July 26th. We'll start looking at, we'll start reviewing the complete streets checklists. So I think that's, unless there's anything else, we can adjourn. Thanks everybody for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.